there is an all African American Kiss cover band in LA, and they wear full makeup, and they are called Kiss My Black Ass. They're still playing music. Kiss covers, I hope. My best friend and I were sitting on the street one day watching a Ben and Jerry's, because that's all we could afford to do. And we're looking through the glass of the store, and we can see this dude in there. He's an older guy. He's probably like maybe non-vet age. And he's got like chest-length dreadlocks and this really funky cape on, and some military boots and a sailor's hat. And he's gesticulating wildly and yelling. But we can't hear any of this. It's all like silent. He's like, and then one of the ice cream guys, had his arms crossed. He's like. And then the manager came out, and he was like, and the guy with the dreads is really, I guess, really yelling. And they finally, the managers put him in a full Nelson and like frog marches him to the door. And the other dude pushed the door open, and they kicked him out on the street. He's like, ah! And they pulled the door shut and locked it. They barred it. And then they were like calling the cops. And the dude in there just was like, hey, motherfuckers! I was sick on Free Cone Day. And that became like the stupid line between me and my friend for like the code for a lame, one of those inside jokes for a lame excuse. And I mean, we had this our house cost $175 per month to rent. I struggled to make that. It was the exact color of dirty Band-Aids. And, our couch was a mattress on the floor in front of the television set. And when you live like that, when you have a mattress for a couch, when you finally do get a couch, there's nothing to do but have a party about it, which is what we did. So everybody came, and my roommate and I are standing on the steps looking out over all these people just surging, and it's so crowded, their arms are down like this, and they're like the little tentacles of a sea anemone on a nature film, just like. And then we saw the Free Cone Day guy making his way through the crowd. He's got this staff with all these bells and animal bones on it, and he's got a cup, and he would like jab people with the cup, and they turn, and he would, and they would just say, fuck it, and just pour some of their drinks. So he was making this revolting punch that like evolved as different people poured shit, and he drank it, and it would like shift, and it'd be more gin over here, and kind of malt liquor-y, and then my buddy and I are watching this, and I was like, check out the cape on the Free Cone Day guy. That is fucking funky. And he said, dude, that is not a cape. That is an Attack of the Clones bed sheet. Like, not even the good Star Wars movie. And I was like, you're right. And we're watching him moving around. He's very aggressive with that cup. And I was like, does he need to go? Does he just need to go? And my roommate said, well, he's not. The only thing he's really doing wrong is drinking something nasty, and we're all doing that. And he's not even the only homeless guy here. So let's just keep an eye on this thing and see how it turns out. And the way it turned out was it was 4 o'clock in the morning. It was me and my roommate and the Free Cone Day guy, and that was it. That was the party. In my living room, we were all dancing to Rick James's Ghetto Life. And he was really feeling Ghetto Life, like clapping and barking and stuff. And then finally, 5 o'clock, we listened to Ghetto Life over and over, full hour, and we kicked him out. And he was happy to go at that point. He had had enough Ghetto Life. And then the next morning, my roommate and I are sitting on the front porch, just like, we have that hangover where you're just like, just you tell the whole world, just give me. We're getting ready to climb Bottle Mountain back in the kitchen, and I'm gonna throw it all away. And the dude comes down the street again. We learned that night his name was Willie, and he comes back, and he's with this woman, and he introduced her. Hey, this is my lady. And she said, and stuck her hand out like real limp. She's wearing a mini skirt, Christmas sweater, it's June, and glass shield, like welding grade sunglasses, and just the fur-lined hood from a winter coat. She's like, and he said, man, that was the best party. I was invited and everything. I ain't been invited no place in years. Some asshole, our neighbor gave him an invitation last week. And we were like, wow, that must suck, like never getting invited anywhere. And he had this huge sack, like a huge garbage sack over his shoulder. And this is just Southern manners for you, is even the winos have them. And he was like, I felt so bad coming by last night. I ain't have nothing to give y'all, so I brought you a present. Would you like it? I had to think about it. And then he just goes like this and heaves it over his shoulder and hits the boards of the porch, and it's just like heavy. And he said, go ahead and open up. I think you're going to like it. And my roommate opened it up. I was like, what is it? He said, oh, look. It's like 250 donuts in here. Most of them haven't even been chewed on. And the only right thing to do is, Willie, would you and your lady like to join us for some donuts on the porch? We certainly would. So they came up on the porch and we're eating, they're eating the donuts, and we're doing that thing where you like, eating something else where you like rip a little bit of it, you kind of look at it, and like throw it over your shoulder. And we got to talking, passing the time a little bit, and then he said, you know what I would really like to hear, man? Ghetto life again. One time, let's have ghetto life. And so I was like, sure, because the bar is down on this roller coaster. Like, ain't nothing to do but stick out the loops, And so we're just like, sure, ticking upwards. And we put Ghetto Life on, and the bass hits, and it's like, dun, 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 dun. And he's like, come on, baby. And they got up, and they just start dancing together. And they're looking each other in the eye and smiling, and they are just in love, and they are all in this funky love on a tiny planet made out of funk, circling a sun that has never warmed this particular body. I can't dance for shit. And they were like, just dancing, and they're like making eyes and kind of kiss faces, and they like bump hips, and then again, and then it's over, and he's got his staff, and he's like banging it to keep beat, and then it's over, and he's like, one more time. We played it like 5 times, And every time they felt just as much in love at the beginning as they were at the end, every single time. And it was just rare, beautiful, just moment, like when your life sucks all around because you ain't got no job and you live in a shitty house and homeless people come over and give you donuts. It's like, when homeless people give you shit, that's how you gotta look at your decisions. And if there's an apology from the world, like, you can enjoy this. It was just so rare. And when I say rare, I mean that is the last time that motherfucker ever left our house voluntarily, because he started coming over 4 and 5 times a week, demanding to hear Rick James's Ghetto Life every time. And sometimes they would be together, and it would sort of be adorable, but then we'd sort of have to go. And then other times they'd come over, and he was always roaring drunk, and he would just be like, Ghetto Life! And down the block, ow! Ghetto Life! And we would just turn the lights out and lie on the floor. Couldn't even deal with it. And then, but that was just it just became a thing that our lives like grew around, Like there's trees that grow up through a truck body, That's just what we did. It just didn't stop it. Just, sure. I wasn't doing nothing. And, except I was, because I wanted a job so bad. I sometimes had jobs, I'd be trying to get a portfolio together, a resume together, get my photography tight, I'd be working on some writing, and Willie would come by and be like, Ghetto Life, one time, Ghetto Life, and like bang on the porch with his staff. And he could be charming. He gave us nicknames. My roommate's nickname was DJ. Mine was White Honky Faggot, because I always wanted to stop the Ghetto Life because I had some other shit to do. My roommate and I had a whole fight where I was like, listen, man, Willie needs structure and discipline. He is testing our boundaries right now. There are boundaries in this household situation. And when I say it's now time for Ghetto Life, and you come run along and you play Ghetto Life, you teach Willie that my word means nothing. As though this homeless 65-year-old Vietnam vet was a child we'd had together. I gotta answer for that. And I just got more and more resent. And he was like, well, what do, you know, we have so much. We have this house, such as it is. All our furniture was inflatable. I carpeted the place. Why are you laughing? That's awesome. I carpeted the place with AstroTurf. My bedroom was carpeted in sky blue AstroTurf, and I had an American flag as a bedspread. Every morning was like a Lego funeral at sea. And I was like, well, I can't get a lady to come over here. I don't know. It's just weird. Dry spot. So he was like, we have jobs sometimes. What's he got? He's got nothing. They're sleeping in abandoned railroad cars, like underneath houses, in other abandoned houses. And the thing that galled me is they're totally fucking fine with it. Like, they had each other and our Ghetto Life record for date night, and that was it. And he was so cool with it, and I was so not cool. Like, I'm striving, man. I'm trying to get ahead. I'm trying to not need to borrow money from my dad sometimes. And, just infuriating. And so one time, I finally did get a lady to come over. We were sitting on our inflatable couch together, and we were gonna watch Pootie Tang. I know, baby, that's a win-win. Because we might not finish watching Pootie Tang, and that's what I was hoping. But if it didn't work out that way, it's still fucking Pootie Tang. And that is my favorite movie. Favorite. Always, it always brings about the good times. So we're playing the movie, and it's going pretty good. We're making out, just about to pause the movie, and then I just hear this like, Ghetto Life! Ghetto Life! Ow! Ooh, let's have some Rick James! Ghetto Life! Woo! And the lady was understandably like, oh shit, what is that? I was like, oh, it's nothing, it's nothing. It's not nothing. Like, ladies, you're making out with a fella, and you hear this, Ghetto Life! And he was like, oh, don't worry. Me and this homeless wino have a relationship. It is totally normal that he would be here screaming like that. That's a step back. Again, you got to look at your life. Who am I agreeing to come over to, you know? And I was like, I got this. And I go outside and I was like, Willie, not now, man, not now. But you know how you always bring your lady over for Ghetto Life? I'm having date night right now, all right? So there's no Ghetto Life, it's Pootie Tang night. And Willie was like, no, fuck Pootie Tang, Ghetto Life. And don't fuck with Pootie Tang when I got a lady over, right? No. And I was like, come on, man, no, you got to respect. He's like, fuck you, DJ! Starts screaming for my roommate, DJ, let's have some Ghetto Life. And I was like, no, listen. And then I just snapped. Like, all this tension, all this passive-aggressive Rick James fighting. I was like, listen, motherfucker, why don't you get a job, then you can get a house, and then you can get a record player. You sighing. I'm not proud of this. This is what happened. And then you can get your own copy of Ghetto Life and listen to it any old fucked up time that you want. But right now, it's Pootie Tang night. You ain't invited. And he just looks at me for a second. His eyes go real wide. I've never seen his eyes all the way open before. And he just goes, "Arr!" He's like Ben Kenobi scaring off the sand people, you know? And he just takes his staff and he's like, and like rubbing it up and down the siding and howling and swinging it like a ball bat, and he's fucking up the sculptures I put out there. And I was just like, oh my god, and I go inside to call the cops, and she's like, oh, it's fucked up over here. She's like, are you gonna call the cops? I was like, yeah, I'm calling the cops. And my roommate comes running downstairs, and he's like, I got this, don't involve the police, I got this. And he goes outside, and he calms Willie down, like, it's quiet for a second. And he comes back in, and he was like, Jeff, I have good news. Willie forgives you. I was so afraid I'd strained our relationship. And he was like, and he has something that he would like to say. So I think you should go outside and hear him out. So I do. And I go out there, and I was like, look, man, I just feel like, he's like, fuck how you feel, listen. And he explains to me, he was like, I don't understand how you can play the drums. I was learning to play the drums, and he would come over and we'd practice, and he would be like, y'all suck! Play Ghetto Life! like scream it through the screen. And again, imagine if every time you tried to do something new, some alcoholic wino came over and said, "You suck at that! Do something I like!" He's like, "I don't understand how you can play the drums and you ain't want to party all the time. That's fucked up." And I was like, "Maybe it is, but this is my life." And he was like, then he explained to me and figured it out. Every personality is composed of two elements. He distilled it right down. There's the natural man side and the bitch side. And everybody is some combination of those two. And as it turns out, Willie is like 99, 100% natural born man. And he said, "Look, yeah, I think it just is that you mostly bitch. Normal that we would be in conflict. It's like Tom and Jerry, man. I ain't even mad at you no more. That's how it's gonna be." And I was like, "Well, that's a very charitable interpretation of our relationship. Thank you for understanding me." Sarcasm is lost on him. And we got to talking some more. And as you might imagine, his lady had a serious drug problem. She had a serious crack problem. She's a prostitute. And when she went out, sometimes she had to go out on the street, and that really hurt Willie very deeply because she was all that he had. And they got in a huge fight that night, huge, and because she was going out and he couldn't handle it. God, nobody could handle that. And he just got completely loaded, and he came over to our house to listen to Ghetto Life and remind himself of their date times when they would dance to Rick James on our front porch. He was just going to do that and project through it, and eventually the night would be over and she'd be back, and whatever had happened, and it would be okay. He did not phrase it to me like that succinctly. I'm condensing and interpolating right now, and that is essentially what he told me. But he looks at me and he drops his glasses, his big soulful eyes, and he's like, "It's okay, son, man, I'm just saying, like, ghetto life. One time." It's like, fuck, okay, yes, Ghetto Life. Let's have some Rick James, Ghetto Life. And I put it on, and he's into it, and he's just like moving, he's grooving to it. I gave him some whiskey we'd been drinking. And then we're all out on the porch, and he's just feeling it. I played Ghetto Life like 6 or 7 times for him. And then the moment is just gone, and he says, "Hey, is it cool if I just crash on your porch tonight?" And we're like, "Yeah, it's cool, like whatever, just okay." So I go to bed, and in the middle of the night, I come down to go to the bathroom, and I see him out there, and he's still sleeping, and it's cold. And I took a blanket, and I covered him up. And I would like to think that I did that because I try to be a nice person, and I had a greater understanding of him, because I really understood his suffering and what he was really going through. And I'd like to say that that's why I play Ghetto Life for him. But I suspect that the truth is that I am, in fact, mostly bitch. So that was me telling a story.